Hey there, Hannah.
Hi, Brandon.
Well, how the hell are you?
We're suddenly from the Midwest, guys.
Oh, how are you doing?
How the hell are ya? This is just too much.
So, what's going to be really offended with my attempt of the accent that I just did? I always think of that accent as the guy from The Simpsons.
God, from the
Howdy
Simpsons.
ho, neighbor.
Oh, Flanders?
Yeah.
Excuse you. Who are you?
What is
The
that? Not
guy from The Simpsons.
listen.
Oh, what the fuck?
What's up, y'all? Welcome.
Brandon doesn't know The Simpsons. Just breaking my heart one show at a time.
I know The Simpsons. I just don't. I don't know a lot of the names.
It's my childhood, buddy. My childhood.
I have a very distinct memory of when I was a kid. I had a seizure at school, and I had to go and stay at the children's hospital for like a week while they did like neurological tests on me.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened to be right around Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, you know, what hospital they took me to.
Mm-hmm.
And they rolled in an NES, and I got to play
Nice.
the Ninja Turtles NES game. And I remember there was like a Simpsons marathon on. And even back then, when I was like, God, 7, there was already like 1,000 episodes of The Simpsons. So they just played it like all day long.
Yeah, it's a long ass show.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll pick like one day a year and I just watch all the Treehouse of Horror and just watch it just plummet into crap. Those first few seasons, the Treehouse of Horror is perfect. Love it.
Chef's kiss.
Love old school Simpsons.
Speaking of horror, welcome to our podcast. You already know the name because it's in the intro.
Welcome to the unnamed podcast.
And you had to click on it,
right? If you didn't, like, we're impressed.
Yeah, if you're getting this cast directly into your mind by Mark Zuckerberg, then what's up?
We've learned that you can't really ask Alexa to play it because Brandon was trying to do it that one day and when it was kept playing all this random shit. It was what is happening?
It was Google, and I think it was because I think it was my accent. I think that was throwing it off.
He's so mad. Cuddy is so mad. He's like, I've done this before.
I really did. Like the very first time I tried it, it played it. And I was mad.
Or it's more used to Bradley's accent at this point and was like, you're too tame there, buddy.
Well, it's supposed to be able to tell the difference, but I don't know. She was lacking that day.
On a struggle bus for sure.
For sure. I hope everyone's had a good week. Sorry about last week. We've had some things going on.
Just mental health break.
Yeah, a little bit of life happening. We had a really nice couple of days here in Kentucky, and then it just got so goddamn cold again. And
you can't win.
It's really awful. Although Saturday's supposed to be like 80.
Yeah. And then Sunday it's gonna rain again.
God. I do.
You gotta get every freaking season in Kentucky. We always complain and throw a fit, but it's like this every year.
Yeah.
April is so rainy and terrible every single year. And every year we're like, what's with all this fucking rain? Where'd this rain come from?
I do.
We're gonna get to summer and it's gonna be humid and miserable. We'll be like, where's the fucking rain?
Have we made that joke before on here though, of how like Southern people are always like, I'm tired of this rain. We need it though. We need it. They always say that. It's like,
I think they said that to at least 3 people last week.
Yeah. It's like, I hate the rain. I can't stand all this rain, but we do need it. We do need the rain.
Look how green it is outside. It's so nice.
But yeah, on that topic though, I have like legitimately been doing some cute little research about like growing some plants this year. Yes. Yesterday at Easter, Bradley's cousin told me about these like canvas bags that you can like put soil in and grow potatoes and shit in. And they
Yep.
open on the side so you can just like dig out the potatoes and stuff.
Magic. You can
Yeah.
grow potatoes in like a plastic tote too, and then just dump them out at the end.
I'm gonna try to grow some stuff this year.
So I work in a research building, and they're the sweetest little Chinese ladies that work in in research, and they're the best. And I was sitting there the other day, and they'd be like, "Do you want this flower? We've got sprouts." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. What is it?" It's a freaking Rose of Sharon.
Oh wow.
And so they both grow them at their houses, and one of them dug up a bunch of little sprouts. And then all I could think of was John Steinbeck and no. Grapes of Wrath, I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Because their daughter's name is Rose of Sharon, and they call her Rose of Sharon. And so that's all I want to say. I'm like, look at my Rose of Sharon on the porch.
There's a Kill Switch Engage song called Rose of Sharon.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of my faves.
It's really pretty, and I'm so excited to grow it. But like, that's all I can think. I'm like, look at my Rose of Sharon.
Sound like Isaac.
So like how John Steinbeck wrote Grapes of Wrath.
I rewatched a horror movie the other day that I haven't seen in a while, and it is just as good as the first time I saw it.
What's that?
The Taking of Deborah Logan.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, so good, so good, and it's like an indie movie, but it's so good.
Those are usually scarier.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that it was like filmed on a budget. However, the most important acting in the movie is really good, so it kind of sells it, you know.
We watched a comedy horror movie with Tyler's sister the other night. Freaky. It's the one where Vince Vaughn's a serial killer and he swaps bodies with a high school girl.
Oh my god!
It's
vaguely,
hilarious.
Because wasn't it like a play on Freaky Friday?
Yeah, but she swaps bodies with a serial killer instead of her mother.
Oh my god!
It's hilarious. So good.
That sounds wild.
I need you to watch it because it's super funny. And Vince Vaughn is like one of my favorite actors, and he's so good playing a high school girl in a 6'5" man's body.
He really disappointed me though in the third season of True Detective, or second season of True Detective.
We still haven't watched that.
Have you seen the first one?
We haven't watched any True Detective yet.
Oh!
I know. I just try to disappoint you.
Everyone listening, the first season of True Detective is amazing. It's
so
good.
Everybody listening, shame Hannah.
Yes, please do that. Also, what have you got picked for us this week?
So we're in Charleston, South Carolina this week.
We love her.
Right. So this is one of those that like I kept reading about it and seeing pictures, and I was like, I have to go back and make sure we didn't talk about this yet. And honestly,
starting to happen
more
a lot. Yeah.
Just because we do so much research and we see all of these things, and then we're like, oh no, I'll come back to it later. But it's in my head like we did an actual episode about it.
Yeah. Or you'll read an article and it'll mention other places in the same location. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in Charleston, South Carolina at White Point Garden. So we'll go over a little bit of the history, but it's kind of exciting, but not like
I'm ready.
So the website I'm using is Ghost City Tours. They're really great for these, like they're really long, good histories, and they're fantastic. So they call it Battery Park and White Point Garden. So the Battery so this whole area used to be part of like a stronghold in the city because it's the South. There have been a lot of wars. It's been through the War of 1812 and the Civil War and just all of this crap.
Didn't something happen in Charleston with like the French attacking as well?
I think so. It doesn't really talk about that much.
Okay.
But it was founded in 1670 by 93 passengers aboard the Carolina, and they sailed into what was known as Charleston Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the ship's captain, who had joined an earlier expedition to Charlestown, he knew exactly where to direct the ship. It's up the river Ashley, named after the colony's Lord Proprietor, Lord Anthony Ashley Cooper. That's a lot of name. And the sharp pointed peninsula, the captain steered the ship. Originally, the indigenous population had called the river Kiowa, a name now given to a barrier island outside of the city. The Spanish called it San George.
Oh.
By that era of the English colonists, Ashley was the name of the river, and Oyster Point or White Point for the jutting peninsula itself. The colony's first governor, Colonel William Sale, deemed the land opposite the peninsula was the perfect place for granting land to the town's first settlers. Sale confessed to Lord Ashley Cooper in a written letter. It is as it were a key to open and shut the settlement into safety or danger. He immediately began granting citizens land, but by 1679 realized that White Point or Oyster Point was more suited for building a town. They say that, but there's a lot of hurricanes.
Yeah.
At one point, there was a big bathhouse there with an ice cream shop on the second floor for some reason. It was super popular, and this thing kept getting beaten to shit with hurricanes, and every time they'd rebuild it. Like, they did this for years and eventually just gave up and tore it down.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. So they ended up filling it in, and that's when it became the garden. But there were also, during all of the wars, there was this area where there were 15 large cannons placed in it, and a lot of them are still there to this day that are pretty cool and a good thing to go see.
I love shit like that.
So it's this beautiful place. There's this really funny, there's a prankster, this section says pranksters and military memorabilia. This guy, seeing all of these lovely cannons, decided he was going to do whatever the hell he wanted and went and built a replica of the cannons, put it in the water for like a year, let it get all shitty looking, and then he sold it to somebody as a newly found cannon, a newly discovered cannon, and somebody bought it, like they believed it. At some point, though, the fake cannon was stolen and has never been seen again. I was like, that's hilarious.
When did they find out it was fake, though?
The prankster made a small error. As an anonymous historian put it, the cannon fooled many people, but because the foundry did not have the tools to fabricate an actual cannon, the foundry instead poured molten metal around a section of cast iron pipe, even though cast iron pipe was not used in large cities until the 19th century. So somebody figured it out eventually, but somebody stole this fake cannon. Probably one of his descendants was like, "You're a fucking embarrassment."
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So, cool. We're not going to go super into the history. That's not the interesting part. I mean, I guess it is if you're into wars and whatnot, but the coolest part, though, is that there are a lot of fucking pirates in this area.
Mm-hmm. I do remember something that didn't you talk about?
I've talked about other pirates in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Apparently there were a lot of pirates in South Carolina.
Okay.
That's where the true ghost stories lie and all the pirates. Said while White Point's turbulent past of wars and hurricanes may have had a hand in its making the park the haunted location that it is today, most attribute its haunted tales to the pirates who were executed here in the 18th century. Spoiler alert, they also used it to execute people in this area.
Ooh.
It was in the middle of town. Within 30 years of Charleston's official founding, piracy stamped its mark early on. As the 18th century's fourth largest port in America, Charleston was the perfect place for economic trade, both illegal and legal. In late May of 1718, Charleston had a swashbuckling, that I cannot say right now, visitor, and no doubt it could have done without. Edward Teach, also known as Blackbeard, yep, blockaded the Charleston harbor and took over the city. He's like, fuck you, this is mine.
Arr!
He quickly commandeered one of the port's ships, the Crowley, which was already filled to the brim with highbrow citizens to London. Blackbeard subsequently sent a letter to the royal governor claiming that he would execute every single person on the Crowley if he did not receive medical supplies. Rumor has it these medical supplies were for venereal disease. Probably they were pirates.
Nice.
And it's the 1700s.
Right, yeah.
In a panic, the royal governor sent the required supplies. Blackbeard stayed true to his word. He didn't execute any of the prisoners, though he did take their valuables, money, and yes, their clothes. Less than 2 months later, the pirates blockaded the port once more. They're like, shit, you said you'd go away. And he's like, I didn't say how long.
Yeah, I did, but I came back.
And there's another pirate called Stede Bonnet. Is it Stead or Steed? Stede.
I would say
That's
Steed.
Steed, right?
Yeah.
His name is nowhere near as famous as Blackbeard's, but he fucked with the city. He was born on the Caribbean island of Barbados to wealthy English parents. Stede Bonnet veered away from the traditional method to becoming a pirate. Most commonly, pirates seized their ships on the ocean blue and turned the people on board either to Davy Jones under the sea or made them part of the crew. Bonnet took the gentlemanly route, if such a thing exists. He personally funded the money for the ship, the Revenge, and even hired paid crew members. Just the worst pirate. But Bonnet had no experience in being a pirate and was forced to hire someone to lead the crew. For a time, Bonnet and his men took on the Caribbean islands before sailing to the Bahamas, where he first met Blackbeard. They joined forces, and the rest, they say, is history. Meanwhile, back in Charleston, Governor Robert Johnson of the Carolina colonies was begging the Lord Proprietors for help. The Lord Proprietors naturally ignored the plea, and Johnson scrambled to find someone to step in. That someone was William Rhett, a local merchant who'd banded together while other merchants of Charlestown, with other merchants to Charlestown, sorry, I can't read today, guys, to fight back against the piracy problem. So this is after the second blockade.
Okay. He was like, we've had enough. One was okay.
Yeah. We put up with you. We gave you medicines for your venereal diseases. Fuck off.
This is the last time. Okay, maybe one more.
Maybe. We'll see. Bonnet attempted to stand his ground. He combined the crew members from the other ships so that they could sail as one unified force against William Rhett's 3 ships. Perhaps the hope was that if they lost one ship, at least they'd not lose them all. Unfortunately, every single ship caught on the shoreline during low tide.
Holy shit. It sounds like they're all just very incompetent pirates.
Awful pirates.
Yeah.
But Blackbeard's here. Like, he's probably sitting there like, what the fuck?
These amateurs.
Right? But while Rhett was able to free his 3 sloops, Bonnet remained stuck. Hope was not all lost. When Rhett boarded Bonnet's ship, the pirate had a plan to blow up the gunpowder storage and send them all to oblivion. Bonnet's men were not with the plan. They threw up their hands and surrendered to Rhett and the merchant crew, and the whole lot of the pirates were subsequently chained up and shipped to Charlestown.
That's what you get.
You're just gonna blow them all up. He's like, we're going down the ship with the ship, boys. And they're like, you're the captain. Fuck you.
Yeah,
You
they're
paid
like
for this boat.
They're like, no, change the plan.
Right. 30 men, including Stede Bonnet, were promptly imprisoned at the Half Moon Battery. The battery later came to be the Exchange and Provost Dungeon. But thanks to Bonnet's prestigious heritage, he was separated from his men and jailed at the Provost's Marshal. Interesting tidbit, Bonnet staged an escape from his imprisonment. He wore a dress disguised as a woman, but didn't make it past Sullivan's Island. I'm gonna guess he wasn't a very pretty lady.
Yeah, I wasn't very convincing.
All of Bonnet's men were deemed guilty at trial and were summarily hanged at White Point. Damn. It said that their bodies were left there to swing in the breeze, their faces growing bloated with heat, their skin slowly decaying as the hours turned the clocks of time. When they were finally cut down, the bodies of the dead pirates were tossed into the marsh, which was later filled in with land so that homes could be built. This is also where like some of the nicest homes in this area are.
Naturally.
How do you want ghosts? That's how you get ghosts. Can you imagine having a nice, like super nice home in Charleston and you're fucking haunted by pirate ghosts? It's like
that's one of the features.
Zombie Island.
So this cute turn of the century home comes with a built-in reading nook and also 70 pirate ghosts.
The most annoying part is they stand around your bed at night and go, "Arr!" all at once. Unfortunately for Bonnet, his fate was no different than his men's. While he managed to convince the jury to push back his execution date 7 times, the judge finally held stern and ordered his hanging. On December 10th, 1718, Stede Bonnet was led to the gallows at White Point. Author and historian Walter Fraser Jr. wrote, "Manacles and clutching a nosegay of wildflowers," which I'm guessing they used to do that because everybody stunk. People would carry around flowers and stuff.
Yeah.
Was taken in a hurdle to the place execution near White Point, where the once bold pirate appeared terrified and near collapse. The executioner dropped the noose over his head and around his neck, and then Bonnet was swung off the cart. He died an agonizing death of strangulation. The invention of the gallows that would break the victim's neck being years away.
Damn.
A few days later, Bonnet's body was untied from the gallows and tossed into the marshes along with the bodies of his men. There they lay, a symbol of the popularity of piracy in the 18th century. So now we talk about the spirits of White Point Garden.
Yeah, now we're getting to it.
For 5 weeks in 1718, 49 pirates met their end at White Point, and it's said that their souls continue to haunt the park and the nearby Battery Park to this day. Visitors have witnessed anonymous faces peering back at them from within the tree, and a number of reports have surfaced about a manifestation of an apparition hanging from the old oak trees. Terrifying screams echo in the midnight air, and legend has it that when people stand near Walter Street and glance down, they can still spot the faces of the executed pirates staring back at them from the water's surface.
Oh, God. Oh. Oh.
Ghost pirates!
That's some pretty spooky imagery.
Yeah. Oh. Reasons to be afraid of the water, number 573. Yeah. It's White Point Gardens. It's a very popular tourist destination.
For some reason.
And an absolutely beautiful place. Just watch out for ghost pirates.
If you don't mind all the mass graves.
Underneath people's homes. It's fine.
That's cool. I feel like in my imagination, pirates and ghosts are just kind of combined now forever, thanks to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. And Scooby-Doo, like we were kids and they were always like, "Oh, the ghost pirate."
Or Davy Jones and SpongeBob.
Of course, yeah. Lord.
Wasn't that who it was? The like little green.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had his ghost ship that like he docked there.
Yeah.
And, yeah. We used to watch too much Nickelodeon, guys.
Davy
Don't judge
Jones,
us.
Davy Jones's Locker.
Listen, Nickelodeon was on the cheap cable, but Disney wasn't. So
Yeah, if you had basic cable, you were a Nickelodeon kid. So
unless you're my husband and you preferred Cartoon Network for some reason.
oh, don't get me wrong, I loved Cartoon Network, especially Toonami after school when I could watch Dragon Ball Z. That was the shit. um that's interesting. I feel like there's certain cities that we touch upon every few months, and it's like, you know, it's like we've talked before. Like obviously not every single thing that we read is gonna be true. It's impossible. But when you have a place like Charleston or New Orleans or
Savannah.
Yeah. And there's so many different like encounters and myths and stories. It's like if at least one of them is true, then like it has to be.
Yeah. There's not that many stories for no reason.
Right. Exactly.
I
And
think it's fascinating. I think it's crazy that there are all these cities, but think about all the history that they have and all the shit that's happened in them.
right. Emotional nexuses is what I like to think of them as.
It's true.
Yeah.
They're also more well documented than say where we're from.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
our ancestors couldn't do much reading and writing.
That's true. But also any place like that has like a storied history, and there's always been a lot of people there. It's like at a certain point you're like, why are there so many fucking stories set in New York City? Well, it's because there's millions of people there. So.
And also when you gather that many people there together, like a lot of bad stuff is going to happen. It's like the worst in people comes out when they're in these highly populated areas.
I agree. There's like
not that they wouldn't do it elsewhere, but like
yeah, but like you said, there's like a herd mentality that only really comes out when people are in very large numbers like that. Look at us both like rocking our.
Listen, I'm calming down from work. I'm chill. I'm gonna go cook some dinner and go to bed really early because I'm like 80
in dog years. Yeah, cool. Well, guys, you're really slacking on the stories, so I'm not gonna ask anymore because you have upset me. But
it's very dramatic of you.
But I will tell you that if you would like to communicate with us, if you just want to say hi, if you want to drop a story, if you want to I don't know, send us fan art or something, wouldn't that be cool?
We haven't had fan art in a while.
Yeah, then you can reach us at our social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GhostWritten Pod, or you can send us an email at ghostwrittenpodcast@gmail.com. Also, we got this cute little Patreon page where we post video recordings of every episode. And we also have some bonus content of series that we have that are specific to Patreon. We have 2 tiers, but they're both really cheap. So if you just want to see the recordings or if you want the bonus stuff too, you can decide if you want to help us out that way. That'd be awesome. If you can't afford to, we get it. We were both in college before. Then you can always review us on whatever podcast platform you listen on, or
It helps
you
a
know.
lot. It kind of bumps us up so other people can see us easily too.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, that's how these websites that host our podcast, that's how they kind of legitimize you, is based on like reviews and things like that. So, yeah, support us any way you can if you would like to. If not, then fuck off. Um, but yeah, I think until next time, it's spooky noises time.
Mm.